KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving it.
Lawmakers disagreed over whether Guam Department of Education officials should provide additional testimony before decisions are made on their more than $272 million budget. I'm Nevaeh Anderson with the details next.
With more than 400 residents still displaced from Super Typhoon Bobby, government and nonprofit officials today opening up a Tier 2 shelter here at the Chalapag-Ordot Emergency Shelter. I'm Mitsuki Horiyama with how the American Red Cross is now stepping in to help.
Following a regulatory matter, SIFA Charter School will not be moving to the new Tamuning location, and now they are in search of a temporary home. But will they open on time for the upcoming school year? I'm Don Sulet with the details tonight.
Good evening, Guam, and Hafa-day. I'm Jason Salas. We are KUAM, and this is Prime Time to Guamanians all over the world. Thanks so much for streaming us tonight. Here's your top stories. Well, a procedural dispute over whether education officials should be called to testify framed much of the legislature's discussion as senators reviewed the proposed fiscal year 2027 budget for the Guam Department of Education. Nevaeh Anderson gives you a look.
The Guam Department of Education is proposed to receive more than $272 million from the government of Guam's general and special funds under the fiscal year 2027 Budget Act, nearly $6 million more than last fiscal year. But before lawmakers could dig into the numbers, they sparred over the legislative process. Senator Chris Barnett asked that GDOE officials be brought into the session hall to answer questions as the body considered the education chapter of the budget. He argued that lawmakers should have the opportunity to question GDOE and other agencies directly about their budgets, as they have in past year's budget sessions. But Finance and Government Operations Committee Chair Senator Chris Dueñas quickly ruled the request out of order. Dueñas countered that agencies were only invited back to the legislature during last year's budget session because major policy changes, mainly the business privilege tax rollback, could directly impact funding. He added that this year, the public hearing process provided sufficient opportunity for those discussions. Barnett's motion failed. Lawmakers then turned to how GDOE would maintain the four northern schools, Ogaду High School, Estumbo Middle School, Liguan Elementary School, and Atacao Elementary School that will soon transition from leased facilities to GovGuam-owned properties. Office of Finance and Budget Director Stephen Guerrero said maintenance funding is already included in GDOE's operating budget. He added that once the leases expire, the department will have about $10.9 million that would usually go towards the lease payments available, which can then be directed towards operational needs. Guerrero also stated that following a $77 million surplus identified after the completion of the fiscal year 2024 audit, the department has $26 million in general fund monies to carry over to fiscal year 27 and utilize to cover maintenance costs and other necessities as part of their total operations funding in their budget. The carryover was made possible under a law passed earlier this year that allows the department to roll over its own funds.
There will be no continuing appropriations that's going to be ruled out of order on the floor here exactly for that reason. The exception will be if the agency manages their own cash. If they have cash in the bank, of course you're not going to deny them to use their own money.
The discussion also turned to GDOE's growing budget despite years of declining enrollment. Guerrero said costs, including utilities, fuel, and employee salaries, continue to rise regardless of how many students are in the classrooms.
But at the same time, it's amazing how the cost is not correlated to the downsizing of the system. It does the opposite.
Finally, Education Committee Chair Senator Vince Borja shared that GDOE's new administration has indicated it's, quote, pleased with the proposed funding in the bill. But Senator Therese Terlahi returned to the debate that started the day, questioning whether lawmakers could truly know how the department views its budget without hearing directly from education leaders during deliberations.
And I hope that the teachers are listening, because it's being represented in here that everything's great at DOE, that everyone is satisfied, that they have more money than they actually ever needed.
Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
This storm recovery update is brought to you by Burger King. Donna Munya Kanata Roy Adonai Treasurer, IP&E, Shell, IT&E, Antonoria Munya Barnes for Guam, Antoinette Tony Sanford Treasurer.
Well, Gov Guam and the American Red Cross today opened up a Tier 2 shelter at the new Talampago Ordet Multi-Purpose Emergency Center, a federally funded shelter put to use for the first time for its intended purpose. And this news comes as more than 400 displaced residents are still in need of a safe place to stay now just over a week since the passage of Super Typhoon Bobby. Matsuki Hirayama explains.
Hundreds of residents displaced from Super Typhoon Bobby arriving in buses at a new Tier 2 shelter set up at the Talampago Ordet Multi-Purpose Emergency Center on Tuesday. A week after Bobby, there are currently over 400 residents remaining in evacuation shelters that are still in need of a safe place to stay, but the center already reached maximum capacity the same day it opened, with some 250 adults and children. American Red Cross Guam Chapter Executive Director Ken Quintanilla.
It might seem on the forefront, like positive sides are that, power is being restored faster. Aesthetically, you don't necessarily see so much damage as like the previous typhoons, but people are still impacted, evident by the numbers, and we're going to find ways to support them and get them back on the road to recovery.
Quintanilla says the nonprofit is working closely with government partners to open up a second Tier 2 shelter, possibly up north. This as there are more residents in need of a longer-term shelter after Bobby compared to Typhoon Sinlaku, which saw some 255 shelteries 3 months ago.
The time between Sinlaku and Bobby, that is never enough time for a family to rebuild and to fully recover. So that's totally understandable, not just here on Guam, but throughout the CNMI. So we're taking, that was what we consider maybe one of the factors why the numbers were increased.
Here at the Multi-Purpose Center, families have access to not only cots and blankets, but 3 hot meals a day provided by the Salvation Army and various services provided by Red Cross volunteers and the Department of Public Health and Social Services.
We have over 200 people assigned to this operation, both in Guam, Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, and our priorities has been sheltering, getting them the emergency supplies, and any other kinds of support.
It's expected to be a more comfortable stay for residents needing those services, as a spacious facility is back on island-wide power and water and even has air conditioning. Talampago Ordet Mayor Wayne Santos calls it Operation Heart, a reflection of the village which sits at the heart of the island.
This is the first of its kind where we have good shower facilities for the individuals. We have a designated space for eating. We have an isolation area so that we don't transmit any more pink eye or anything to that effect.
It's a major step up from the Tier 2 shelter following Typhoon Mawar, which, as KUAM reported, was overcrowded and poorly ventilated, turning it into a hotspot for COVID-19 and influenza outbreaks. Moving forward, this multi-purpose center could be the golden standard for Tier 2 shelters following future storms.
We plan to be in the Tier 2 shelter business for many more years. We know that there's definitely a need on the island, and we are happy to provide those services.
Meantime, while the central shelter has reached max capacity, the Red Cross emphasizes they continue to help those in need of services and a safe place to sleep after Bobby. The number to call is 671-472-6217. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
All right, Matsuki, thanks so much. We're going to shift now and give you a look into ongoing recovery efforts for our people as the Department of Public Health and Social Services kicked off their food commodity distribution for those who lost food due to Super Typhoon Bobby. Households under SNAP, Medicaid, or MIP, or those who fall under an income threshold are able to receive food commodities, with the first day being today at Adaloop from 1 to 4. Folks can still pick up food commodities on Thursday the 16th up at the Jigo Gym from 3 to 6, and then on Saturday the 18th down in Malolo at that village's social hall from 9 a.m. to 12 in the afternoon. Now, this was all made possible by the department's Division of Homeless Assistance and Poverty Prevention TFAP program. In an interview with KUAM, DHAP Chief Rob St. Augustine says that folks wishing to receive the food commodity would simply have to line up, and if they are not a SNAP recipient, then they would sign a self-attestation form affirming they are under the income threshold. St. Augustine's also encouraging the public to apply for their TFAP program. Here is more about how the program works and if you qualify.
It is a program that is in need of food. They can go to their mayor or register online at the public health website, and if they go to the DHAP page and go to the TFAP site, there is a form that they can fill out, and we'll forward it to the mayors, and then they could pick up food from the mayors on a normal monthly basis. So we just want to make sure that everyone that is vulnerable and challenged with income, that they do get some assistance to help out with the food costs.
From education, Science is Fun and Awesome Learning Academy Charter School is looking for a temporary home, and originally the Manta Rays were gearing up to relocate to their new facility in Tamuning, yet due to a regulatory matter, the school's physical location is now in limbo. With the details on this story is our Don Sulat.
Following a hiccup in a quote-unquote regulatory matter, Science is Fun and Awesome Learning Academy Charter School is looking for a temporary home. This comes as SIFA's start date of August 10th is just a little over 3 weeks away. KUAM previously reported that the home of the Manta Rays was relocating to the village of Tamuning. However, in a statement to KUAM, SIFA's Planning, Compliance and Research Director, Ron Ravella, says they, quote, encountered a regulatory matter that must go through the appropriate process before the location's permit can be secured, end quote. Prior to talks of the charter school moving to Tamuning, the Manta Rays' temporary home was the Guam Community College. Originally, SIFA was hoping to stay at GCC as their plan B. However, the community college will not be hosting SIFA students in the upcoming academic year. GCC President Dr. Judith Guthard says that, quote, the college will maximize classroom space to support its growing post-secondary programs, certificate programs, workforce training courses, and work-ready boot camps, end quote. Although GCC is unable to host SIFA students, Dr. Guthard says they have been in communications with the Guam Department of Education to, quote, identify suitable temporary classroom space for SIFA, end quote. In response to their Plan B not being an option, SIFA says they are working to secure their temporary location while their permanent site completes the necessary regulatory process and are hopeful that this will be their final temporary home before transitioning into their new location. As for whether or not the Manta Rays will start on August 10th, according to Ravella, they are confident that SIFA will begin the school year on time. Reporting for KUAM News, I'm Don Sulat.
To crime news now, an alleged drug trafficking leader is behind bars after authorities say he spent nearly a year evading arrest. Leighton Borja was arrested on July the 9th and appeared in Superior Court, where he was ordered held on a $100,000 cash bail. Prosecutors accused Borja of leading a meth trafficking organization operating out of a home in Mingilao that was raided by GD. Investigators say the search uncovered methamphetamine, cocaine, drug paraphernalia, scale, and thousands in suspected drug proceeds. Court documents also allege multiple people told investigators they sold, transported, or stored drugs, money, and even firearms on Borja's behalf. He is charged with continuing criminal enterprise, multiple drug trafficking and conspiracy offenses, drug possession, and illegal transfer of a firearm. If convicted on all of these charges, he faces life in prison plus additional prison time. And in a separate case, Borja is also charged with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle after prosecutors say he allowed a woman to use a vehicle that had been reported stolen. That misdemeanor charge carries a maximum penalty of a year behind bars. The National Weather Service is saying a system known as Invest 97W, a tropical disturbance northwest of Yap, remains under a tropical cyclone formation alert and has a high chance of developing into a tropical depression within the next day. Now, I know what you're saying. Does this affect us? The good news for Guam and the CNMI at this time is that no direct impacts are expected, with forecasters saying the system is expected to move generally north to northeast away from the Marianas. That's our part of the world. Even so, residents can expect gusty southwest winds, scattered showers, and increasing surf, especially along south and west-facing reefs and beaches over the next several days as the system moves through the region. The NWS continues to monitor the system and says additional tropical disturbances may develop across the western Pacific in the coming weeks. Please stay tuned, everybody. Primetime will continue right after this. You're watching KUAM.
splash this summer? Kmart is. Dive into the fun. Get in the game. Make some waves. Summer Splash at Kmart.
Anything's possible. I push to the limits. I climb every wall. I keep on believing. Anything's possible.
If there's one thing we've learned, it's never to underestimate the spirit and strength of the people of our island home. Which is why at Bank of Hawaii, you, your dreams, and your possibilities will always have a home. Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii.
I'm Jason Salas, everybody. Welcome back to Primetime. Revenue Tax has issued its 14th batch of 2025 individual income tax refunds, bringing the total amount paid this year to more than $114.2 million. The latest batch includes more than $6.3 million in refunds distributed, almost 2,500 payments processed, nearly 2,000 paper checks issued, 600 EFT transfers. Revenue Tax says recovery efforts following Super Typhoon Bobby have not delayed the processing of tax refunds, and returns continue to be processed in the order they were filed. Taxpayers who filed on or before March 27th are included in the latest batch, and due to a high volume of returns, the agency advises processing times could range between 8 to 10 weeks. Taxpayers needing assistance or payment options for taxes owed are encouraged to contact the agency. Elsewhere, the Salvation Army is expanding its disaster relief across the Marianas following Super Typhoon Bobby, as in just the first 4 days of response, the organization served more than 2,300 meals at emergency shelters locally. As recovery continues, it says it will provide meals every day at long-term Red Cross shelters for as long as they're needed. Up in Saipan, volunteers have already distributed more than 250 meals with food boxes, with additional food supplies expected to be shipped to hard-hit Rota next week. Relief teams from Hawaii and the mainland are also deploying to Guam and Rota to support feeding operations, damage assessment, and emotional and spiritual care for families recovering from the back-to-back weather systems. Since Super Typhoon Sinlaku 3 months ago, the Salvation Army says it's served nearly 16,000 meals, delivered more than 4,600 boxes of essential supplies, and provided emotional and spiritual support for more than 600 people from Chuuk, the Sinamai, and Guam. Now, despite Guam's ongoing recovery effort from Bobby, the show will go on, as organizers of the Hafaloa concert series have confirmed that Josh Tatofi's concert will take place as scheduled on Saturday the 18th over in Mingilau at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. Officials say the venue has power, aircon, and sustained no damage from the storm, making it fully operational for the event. Organizers say ticket demand remains strong and encourage fans to purchase tickets early, as the show is expected to sell out. Proceeds from every ticket sold will continue to support the Make-A-Wish Foundation's local wish-granting efforts. Doors open at 4 p.m. with the concert beginning at 6:30. You can purchase your tickets at guamtime.net.
Now for a look at your world at home.
Drawing on our strong connection to the ocean, here's the legendary Sirena glancing out to the sea in Hagåtña.
At GTA, everyone gets our best deals.
So my Niao's Primos Paris is your mom's second cousin's cousin through marriage.
Wow, we're basically like family.
So can I get the deal?
Of course, everyone gets our best deals.
My nana said to tell you she went to church with your auntie.
You look just like my friend's nephew's babysitter.
Small island, right? Everyone gets $400 off when you sign up for a Live Unlimited plan.
Bring it in, cuz.
Even if we're not related.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Tourism is Guam's #1 industry. It creates jobs and brings in spending. When a visitor comes to Guam, they spend their money on hotels, on transportation, on shopping, on dining out. They're happy they came to Guam. You know who else is happy? The hotel they stayed in, and the bellhop at the hotel. The tour bus drivers and tour guides. The stores they shopped at, and the banks they used. The restaurant and the waitstaff. The supplier who delivered the ingredients, and the farmer who supplied the produce. From real estate to retail, tourism has a positive impact on every industry. When tourists pay taxes, it means locals pay less. Let's make sure our local economy grows so it becomes stronger and more sustainable. Make Guam a better place to live, work, and visit. Support tourism.
Tonight's sports feature is brought to you by Cars Plus.
All right.
Collect one of 9 legendary cups with the FIFA World Cup meal.
In honor of America's 250th anniversary, Jeep and Captain America are saluting real captains of America.
All clear, Cap.
Heroes like Captain Nuger, Captain Enda.
Team, I got eyes on Cap.
Captain Murray.
Copy that.
Captain McCall. And all those who served our country.
Need a lift, Captain? Brought my own, Captain.
And as America's veteran SUV, Jeep is built for freedom and driven by heroes.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Harvest House is getting ready to welcome Guam's foster community for its 15th annual Back to School Bash later this month. The nonprofit ministry says the event is designed to help foster children start the new school year with confidence by providing free backpacks, reusable water bottles, and a day filled with games, crafts, activities, and opportunities for families to connect. Harvest House currently serves Guam's foster community through resources, training, and support for foster children and families. Organizers say the nearly 700 children currently in foster care on Guam, the need for community support continues to grow. More than 1,000 guests, including foster children, foster families, and supporters, are expected to attend this year's event. Harvest House is also encouraging the community to get involved by volunteering, donating school supplies or other in-kind items, or making a financial contribution to help support Guam's foster children. For more information to learn how to support the event, please contact Harvest House at 671-300-LIFE or visit their Instagram at Harvest House Guam.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, One Love. News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas.
Okay, guys, simply stated and no dramatic lead-in or anything. Rota strong. We know our brothers and sisters, our family members, our friends about 50 miles north of us, they got hit really, really hard by Super Typhoon Bobby. We are here for you guys. One Marianas, I'm telling you. And there is a donation drive going on. Let's pitch in and let's jump in and let's do what we do as Chamorros, right? As Pacific Islanders, as human beings to go help our brothers and sisters in need. This is being put on by the Guam Fire Department, True Island Heroes from Guam to Rota. It's on the 24th. Please make sure to consider donating canned goods, hygiene wipes, water containers, even rice, right? Bottled water, everything there. You guys can contact GFD, your local fire station, if you would like any more information. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Rota, we are here for you. We're going to make sure you guys get back on track. All right, Mariana strong, right? Rota strong. All right, what else do we got? Bloom in Hope is coming up on October the 10th. It is Vero, Victims Advocates, reaching out, their annual gala. So we are going to make sure that we support our friends over at Vero for the services they provide, for the resources they provide for victims who are in need. And we show our support to Vero because they do a very, very wonderful service, very necessary here on the island. Thank you, Vero, and we will see you at your gala event. And then the UOG Golf Challenge, right? Speaking of things to do, make sure to work on your long game, everybody, because down at CCP, you know, the winds pick up there in God's country, down in Talafofo at Country Club of the Pacific, we are having a golf challenge. Make sure to check it out because on the last day of August, right before September starts, right? A lot of people, you know, going back to school, registering for classes and everything. Make sure to go there and show off your golf game. We will see you there. Birthdays now.
You guys, you know who loves having a lot of birthdays to celebrate? Us here at KUAM, because we get to make a lot of people's families really, really happy. You know who also loves it? Cold Stone Creamery, because that means they have a lot of cakes to make and they are super delicious. So let's all say happy birthday today on Monday to Daryl Diwa. Continue to do great things. We love and support you always from your ates and all of your kuyas. Happy birthday, Daryl. Jeffrey Frank Jr. Baza Pangolin, and happy birthday number 25 to one of our Bellators familia. May God continue to bless you abundantly and grant you with good health, happiness, and many more birthdays to come. We love you always forever. Lots of love coming from the Bellators familia. Marian Arceo, happy birthday to Miss Katie. Happy birthday, blessings, love your family. And check this out. We have not one, not two, but three amazing ladies on our family here at KUAM. We're celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday to our own Cassidy Santos in the back. Amazing dancer, super, super funny. Cass, we wish you the best day ever. And sitting right behind her, or next to her, literally, is Jacqueline Ann Pangolin. Birthday baby Jackie. Happy birthday to you. So our two girls in the back are celebrating a birthday. They're going to have like a righteous potluck. And happy birthday number 40 to Valerie Santos, a member of our family too. That's Jake's wife. We hope you have a wonderful day. Our queen, your family says. May God bless you with many more birthdays to come. Love Big Daddy Jay and your two kiddos, Zane and Zarai Sablan, and the whole entire family. They say we love you past the moon and beyond the stars and back. Hey, that would make Toy Story jealous, all right? Happy birthday to all of you today. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com.
My friends, that's going to do it for our time, and that's going to do it for our show. Please be excellent to each other. I'm Jason Salas. We will see you tomorrow night. Have a great Tuesday. Thanks for watching Health, Home, and Lifestyle right here on KUAM. Check us out anytime on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KUAM News, for all of our episodes about how you can live a happy and healthy island life. Half a day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas here at the entrance to Leo Palace here in the beautiful village of Jotna. And welcome to Health, Home, and Lifestyle, where we are going to show you even more summertime tips about how to live a happy, healthy island lifestyle. We've got tips about real estate, managing your property, about what to eat, what to exercise, where to exercise, and how to do everything right so that you can have an absolutely amazing summer here on the island. Weather's supposed to be a little bit hot, a little bit rainy this time of year, but you know, it's all good. We got a great summer plan, so let's get right to the content for this episode. Half a day, everybody. Welcome back to House to Home, a show where we tell you about the market, the forces dictating it, what you can do to navigate what can be very treacherous waters sometimes. And, you know, of course, the market is a function of Guam's economy, so a lot of that deals with money. We're bringing in a money man right now into the show, someone who by trade knows a lot about the value of funding and of working with budgets and everything. And that seems to be a very, very hot topic right now because our friends in the government are currently working on the GovGuam budget. So bringing in his expertise as a banker, but more importantly, pertinent to this conversation, the chairman of the board from the Guam Chamber of Commerce, our good friend, Ed Untalan. Ed, so good to see you, brother.
Fade, thank you for inviting me, and Liz, thank you for the last minute call. I'm anxious to join as I actually leave this afternoon to the PI for an executive checkup, long overdue.
All right, hey, well, good luck with that.
I felt it was
thank you.
important to have Ed come on the show. There were budget hearings the past few days, and even Kim Anderson and myself, we showed up at the legislature to listen to what was going on and what was being proposed within the legislature. But Ed also sent out a letter to the members of the Chamber of Commerce talking about what is important for Guam and what is our current state of economy. So I thought it was really important to get this word out there to our community, especially with some of our leaders out there, and what is really important for the island. So Ed, please talk about, you know, your viewpoints, and we want people to hear them.
Well, you know, thank you, Liz and Jason, again, and I hope I can cover this within the next 2-3 hours as we speak on the show. No, really, you know, there are a number of things that that we have been trying to help our general membership understand, particularly the public. We believe from the chamber, because you know, when I speak as the voice of the chamber and the business community, and really now we're shifting that to where we're speaking of the voice of the economy and our island, because everything that occurs now affects the business community. I believe it's important we first begin by distinguishing or making it very clear that there's no distinguishing factor between a big business and a little business, just size. That's all. They operate the same. They generate revenues, they have expenditures, and whatever's left, they hopefully can reinvest or meet the adequate returns that they're looking for. But there's no difference. So we need to make it very clear that big or small, there's no difference. The other thing that's very important is that we need to redirect our attention to the economy, because if we don't realize or we don't acknowledge that the economy is hurting now, when you've got millions of dollars flowing in from the construction industry, that's fine. It kind of masks the situation because it makes it look like, okay, everything's going well. But the reality is that the economy is struggling. Tourism is struggling, and when tourism is struggling, jobs struggle. When tourism is struggling, the retail side struggles, and we've seen it. A number of businesses have closed up, and to confirm the fact that there's no distinguishing factor between big and small is that look who's closed up. You've had some very big businesses that have closed up, as well as a number of small businesses. What's the key, the underlying factor with it all? It's the economy. There's no revenues coming in. There's no people buying products and services, no people going into the restaurants. Why do you think a number of restaurants don't open up for breakfast and lunch? Because they don't have the business. So starting first with the budget, everything that has to be done and looking at the budget has to be geared around, is this being very impactful for our economy? Does it create jobs? Does it make doing business on this island a lot more easier? Does it make us more competitive? And is it building tourism? Somebody had just shown me during lunch that there's some that believe that tourism means nothing to the island. Well, I think you got to go back 50 years when we first began. And over the last 50 years, tourism has been the backbone with military and federal spending. Construction is a byproduct of what comes out of the good economy. Without a good economy, without the military spend, construction wouldn't be around. So we've relied on tourism, and that's why we're always talking about, pre-pandemic tourist levels, etc. So the two things that we did just recently, and thanks to Liz, because Liz was part of a discussion we had regarding the budget, right? She was one of a couple of board members on this thing. We started looking at the budgets very closely, and we were comparing the substitute budget versus what the administration had proposed. Now, I'm not saying that they did a lousy job, this and that. What we did was we looked at it very straightforward and very factual. What is going to help, right? So most important is that, two things. Most importantly, is that it maintained the GRT going to 4.5% to 4%, and that's important. And why? Before I go into why I wrote the op-ed regarding it's not about the tax, it's about the economy, because the GRT, there's a misconception that they're giving money back to the businesses, right? Going by 4.5 to 4%. The reality is the government is not giving us any money. The government is taking less. There's a big distinction, right? And so what does that do? It allows Guam to keep more, the businesses to keep more of what they earn, giving them more flexibility to retain employees, to manage rising costs, to maybe invest in their operations. But it only helps if they've got people buying their products and services. Right? That's the only good. That's the only benefit. I attended a public hearing on the minimum wage, and the business sector, the private sector, has never argued that in wanting to give people less. In fact, if our economy was booming, if our businesses were thriving, we'd probably be paying people a lot more. But the reality is that we are constrained to what we can afford. And so this one gentleman, he was a coffee shop, and he said to the group, he said, look, I've got a fixed cost. If I don't get to sell more coffee, I still have to pay that cost. And from that point, I pivoted and says, that's the key. You have to generate an environment that can have people wanting to buy more coffee, more products and services. If people were buying Louis Vuitton bags and all that, do you think duty free would have closed down? Right? If the businesses were really thriving, they wouldn't have left.
Kevin Hart here to tell you all about Taco Bell's new jalapeno citrus salsa. Hey guys, I kind of feel like you're chopping off my head a little bit. I'm the money. Don't forget that. It's spicy, balanced with a sweet and tangy citrus touch that makes everything taste even better. And the best part is it comes with, I kind of still feel like you ain't got all of me. The best part is it comes with anything on the Cantina menu. So you better try it before it's gone.
New jalapeno citrus salsa, the sauce with more main character energy than Kevin Hart.
Life moves fast. Yes, helps you keep up.
Can we open an account?
Yeah, let's do it.
Did I pay that bill?
Yep, you sure did.
What about our vacation?
Oh yeah, start packing.
How does anyone afford to buy here?
Yeah, we get it, but we can help guide you.
I need a bigger space. Can you help?
Yes. Because yes is so much more than the answer to a question. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
This budget touches every one of our lives. And if everyone who's touching and ready to approve this budget can put that through and understand that impacts more people, the entire population, than just a few. So going back to what the op-ed said, we need to focus the discussion on the economy. When businesses exceed, guess what? People work, families prosper, communities grow. Then the government revenues grow naturally. Right now, it's a little bit skewed because it's tied to the buildup, right? But I can't say if it's going to continue. Geopolitical tension could shift that. We have a great opportunity now to take the resources. Like you, if you got a big bulk of money coming in, a big contract that says, "Hey, Jason, I'm going to give you, you know, $1 million a year just to do this." You're going to take that $1 million a year. You're going to try to see how am I going to best use it? Okay, maybe I need some training. Maybe I need some new equipment. It's going to help sustain me at least because the operating costs are high on this island. I can do other things that can help build. So the reduction in the GRT is not giving money back. We're not putting it in our pockets. It's giving us a lifeline to be able to redeploy the assets, the revenues, the monies that we have to more productive uses.
Ed, I want our viewers to really get a sense of the gravity of like what you're saying, right? So is our situation right now, and granted we're in the middle of a budget cycle, but are the decisions that have to be made in the short term now, is that just a minor hemorrhaging for Guam that needs to be a tourniquet needs to be applied on that, or does Guam's economy, do we face an existential crisis right now? Given your professional expertise and having been in Guam business for more than 40 years and now being the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, is this an existential crisis for Guam's economy?
I think we're at a critical point. If you ask me, there are many. I mean, if it wasn't critical, you wouldn't have seen the exodus of a lot of businesses on this island, right? If it wasn't critical, you wouldn't see the rising costs of doing business on this island. It is important that the voters understand that who we elect, and I'm not advocating for anyone, but you got to ask them the same, some basic questions. What are you going to do to make my life different? Not give me a job, because the government can grow and grow and grow, but remember where their revenues come from. It comes from our tax dollars. Mm-hmm. If that starts to decrease, they're going to start to decrease. But we also have an opportunity. The surpluses that are coming in really need to be mindfully deployed in a very impactful. This budget's only going to last a year. So going forward, you got to start to look ahead. You mentioned Carl Gutierrez. Okay, I worked for Carl.
Yep.
One of the things that I really appreciated about him is that he built that 2000 Vision 2002. What it was a strategic plan. I don't know what our plan is, and I don't think anyone in the island knows what the plan for the government of Guam is, or the government. You don't say the government of Guam, for the island of Guam is. Carl understood one thing. He acknowledged reality. We were facing some big situations, the downsizing of BRAC, storms, KL, and all that. And he needed to make some structural changes. And he got the experts in, and they put a plan together that they systematically went after one by one. And that worked. I don't know about what strategic plan we have. Now, is tourism GVB's job alone? Absolutely not. Is building this economy Gita's job alone? Absolutely not. we all we all have to be a part of it. This is the conversation that I believe Guam should be having. It's not how to divide a struggling economy, but how we grow it together. Remember, when the private sector is prosperous, jobs come, taxes come, opportunities come. That's what it's all about. Are we at a critical point? I believe so. I'm just, I'm a very conservative guy, and we need to be able to take advantage of this opportunity now. Otherwise, you know, 5 years from now, 6 years from now, I don't know, we're going to be able to sustain $1.7 billion budget. That's a lot of expenses. And again, remember, the revenues of the government comes from the private sector. If the private sector is not healthy and struggling and dying, the government's going to struggle. And at the end of the day, it comes down to jobs and the economy. What are we all collectively doing to build the economy, to create jobs, to create opportunities? I don't want to see people run off and try to find a better place. I believe that Guam is a wonderful, beautiful place to live and raise your children.
Very well.
And to be able to grow. And so this is what the focus has to be on. The budget's being passed. How is it helping the island grow? How is it helping to create jobs? There's a lot of different issues, homelessness, drugs, granted, but you have to start somewhere. And that's why in the message to the membership, what we've got is not perfect, but it's a good step, good first step.
Okay, Liz, let me kick it over to you now because, and we talk about this very often on this program, as we said, what we learned about our business community and, because we as Guamanians, right, we're resilient people. We've been through war, we've been through typhoons, we've been through, like acts of God, unfortunate situations numerous times, right? And that's not being braggadocious. That's just saying, we've learned to adapt to that. We also learned in the pandemic that a lot of people in the business sector got creative. They cut where they could, they scaled back where they were able to, and then, they came up with like some solutions. As one of the entrepreneurs, Liz, who's going to have to implement what Ed's saying on a theoretical level, like how do you anticipate, writing this out or getting us through this?
Well, there's a couple things, and business individuals here. We pivot, we move. When there's a problem, when the market drops in one area, we have to shift. Okay, what else can we do? I remember our engineering firm, when the market dropped, they did a lot of the government jobs, and then all of a sudden that dried up because of political issues, and then they had to focus right within the private sector, private jobs from different companies and off-island companies who came to Guam, and they had to do sub work to survive. Any business on Guam, we have to keep pivoting to survive. And if you don't, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. And I think the key now, everyone who's in business have to pay attention. You have to pay attention like Ed is doing, paying attention, getting the word out there. And if you're going to go out and vote, who is going to make our island better? Which candidate is going to make that difference to have the strength, the vision, and the foresight to make changes within the government to benefit the community and the whole? So the private sector funds all these things. And BJ Cruz, I applaud him for pointing out the different issues of oversight in spending, and we're missing monies where he showed all that. But I don't think the local community, some of us don't pay attention. We should. We should pay attention. Listen to what Ed is saying about our economy. Look at Saipan. I'm hearing a lot. Saipan, the big businesses left. The airlines left. Where are those people now? A lot of them have shifted to Guam. They open businesses on Guam because they can't survive in Saipan. So when Guam can't survive, then what? Where are we going to go? I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to have to figure it out to stay on Guam. But other companies will have to shift and move. If people from Saipan left, then what happens when Guam goes downhill? We're already hearing it. People have left Guam for better benefits stateside. We don't want that. Guam is paradise. I'm going to This is where we live. We're not going anywhere. And that's why I think, again, it's important to be vocal, to keep an eye on what's going on, pay attention, and then spread the word, and then vote wisely, because whoever comes in is going to make a difference for Guam. If we don't pick wisely, then we're going to be in the same condition we are.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Now, for a limited time, get our largest pizza at our lowest price. Just $9.99 for our classic New York-style pizza. It's 30% larger than our large, and at only $9.99 for carryout. Don't wait. Order now at your Island Pizza Hut.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
For those who may be viewing who are not quite sure, okay, what exactly would climate change mean for us here on the island? Like, what would that look like?
Yeah, we're already seeing it. We just had super typhoons Sinlaku impact our entire archipelago in April. And April is not in the typhoon season. April is very much outside of what we consider the rainy season even. The rainy season usually runs June, July, all the way to December, and having a storm that large, that big in April is incredibly rare for our people. So that in and of itself is one of the things that will be more severe weather, drought, sea level rise. We also saw this after Sinlaku of the way that the sand has shifted all across Hagåtña Bay. And Arunau as well, and so that's also something to be mindful of. Sea level rise is going to be impacting our communities, they say, by 2100, which when our grandkids will be coming of age. And yeah, I think that is just a threat. Climate change is just a threat multiplier for things that we're already facing, like a food crisis, energy crisis. Also, it's going to be putting impacts on water, and that's something that we definitely face here on the island. And Micronesia Climate Change Alliance has been very proactive around uplifting the need to ensure that our water is clean and protected for generations. And water, we're blessed here on Guahan with such an amazing resource, our Northern Guam Aquifer Lens, that provides millions of gallons of water to our people every single day, but it's under threat because of the firing range complex by the military that may inundate our very, very precious sacred water with lead contamination. And lead contamination is incredibly dangerous for any community. We've seen these in communities across the states that deal with lead, all the kind of sicknesses. And we already have such a sick community because of the exposure to toxins left over from the military, left over from industry. And it's really important for us in this time now to really ask, like, is the health of our water, the health of our land really worth any of these short-term economic gains? What kind of islands are we going to be passing forth, and how do we empower and equip the next generation to carry on this fight? Because these islands, these waters are our legacy. And the work that we do at MCCA is really to just empower us and to unite us to remember that we're worth fighting for and that we're still here.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for the future of football, it's gonna be me.
Capaz que no sabe quién soy todavía. Pero pronto lo vas a saber.
Great goal kick.
Wait, you thought that was great? I'm gonna be so big. I wouldn't even be able to walk down the street.
Então se liga.
Eu vou ser o maior artilheiro da Copa. No, it's a fun playing. Hey, cara, sai do meu sonho. It's my dream too, bro.
So, don't wait for the future. Drive it. Next starts now.
Okay, Doc, as a healthcare practitioner, how important is it that, these kind of outreach events come to the people, like, in their neighborhoods, in their villages?
Well, it's very important, especially now because of the typhoon. A lot of the clinics are not fully operational, and a lot of people get sick during weather like this, so it's very important. And school is just around the corner, so we need to do the physicals and get the immunizations up to date.
A popular saying promotes that health is wealth. And within the color spectrum, pink conveys compassion and care for all people. And on a midsummer Saturday up at the Dedido Farmers Market, a familiar pink van rolled up and provided an abundance of health screening services for residents.
The idea of the services that we offer here at the mobile clinic, Wellness on Wheels outreaches, is that we're duplicating most of the services that we can offer in our brick and mortar clinic in Tamuning. So today we're offering wellness checks, cancer screenings, school physicals, nutrition counseling, and then we also have Dr. McClure here who's offering, just mental health checks, checking in with people if they want to talk. They can have full psychiatric consultations